Leo, just the two changes this week, and both of those, key players, British and Irish Lions. Were you conscious of trying to keep a little bit of stability in the side this week?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a short week as well. So there's always that bit of a challenge on the shorter weeks, but obviously Bulls face the same challenge. So, I thought the guys they acquitted themselves pretty well last week. But a few changes obviously to keep a bit of freshness there as well. So the group are working well. A couple of guys just a little bit unlucky this week, like in terms of because the importance of the Monday Tuesday part of the week and getting guys out there, and so that was the balance in terms of that stability piece as well.
Hugo Keane, he was back training this week. Was that a selection call, or did he have a setback?
No, we just wanted to see Hugo train, and I thought the other guys they went well last week. So he was just trying to get through the week's training. He's done that, so he was ran around there with the guys there again today. It was just one of those tight calls. He's good to go now. But obviously it's a semi-final, so you don't know if you have it next week or not. But he's got through the week well.
And just finally then, on the Bulls, in terms of personnel, they're very similar to the side that was here in round one. Like, it's 11 of the 15 that played, but obviously results-wise, things are going a lot different for them. How different are they compared to when you played them back in September?
Well, they're a very well-organised, well-coached team for starters. And then it's for, I guess, if you're trying to put yourself, I'm imagining putting myself in their shoes, really. Like, it's growing the understanding and the familiarity with travelling to the Northern Hemisphere to play and dealing with the conditions, the teams, the understanding there. So they're getting better all the time, and you can see that with their results. They've got a lot of quality, a lot of stability in their team. Their team doesn't change a huge amount if you see their selections, and they're very well led by Marcel Coetzee, who's understands, Northern Hemisphere Irish rugby particularly well, and he's still a real physical presence and a huge talisman for them. So. They've the Bulls' DNA is it's a strong kicking game. The set piece part, in the terms of the contact area, very very physical, abrasive. That's been their mindset. So I think that's what they'll default to on a big game as well. So as I said, they're well organised, well coached, but it's a great challenge for our guys. We talked plenty over the course of the early part, and when it's been moved about the South African teams coming in, and you can see what they've added to the tournament, and it's sort of there's two Irish South African games now in the semi-finals, which is great. I think it's brilliant for the competition. One up here, we're thankful that we're not having to figure out all the permutations of flights and travel and all the rest. And you've obviously Ulster down in Cape Town. So, you saw some really good quality games, I think, over the course of the 4 quarterfinals, and it just gets harder. So, like this, the season is long, but it's we're making sure that we have that stamina. But our guys have been well managed throughout the course of the season. Huge amount of work has gone in behind the scenes, both from the players, all the players that we've used to get us enough points that we are at home. Because the home comforts, we want to make that as a point of difference for us, and hopefully get a big crowd again for tomorrow, because we have unbelievable support all through the season. So, it's just trying to finish out, get through semi-final. Lots of good stuff in the quarter-final, but unfortunately, don't carry any of those points over to this week. So we need to put in a big performance again, and but the Bulls won't make it easy because they'll come with a plan. Even just listen to some of the sound bites coming from them this week, they will have a plan for the game. So we just need to make sure we're able to impose our game the way we want to try and impose it on them.
Thanks.
How are you doing for things?
Good.
Just developing on, speaking about the physicality in their game plan, if they try to slow down the ruck and to try and use that platform to play it fast, what's your plan to overcome that and oppose your game plan then?
Well, you need to be adaptable in the game because it's the conditions, the referee, etc. So, the set piece battle, we're not shying away from it. We want to take them on in that area, so we'll be upfront about it. We've huge amount of experience and power ourselves, so it's making sure that we, whatever way the game unfolds, and if a team fills the defensive line, that we're smart enough to use this, take advantage of some of the space that's somewhere else, whether that's with some of our kicking game as well. So you need to have all the different tools particularly against the better teams, because they're going to challenge you in different ways. So it's not just a case of trying to overpower teams. So use the smarts in our game as well. But we've experienced players all across 1 to 15, 1 to 23. Some of the guys to be out coming off the bench later in the game as well will hopefully add real impact as well. So that's the challenge when you get to this stage of competitions, whether that's semi-finals or finals. You're up against very, very good teams because they've all had to fight their way to get to this point. So we know the Bulls are not going to hand it to us, so we're going to have to fight for everything, and that's been the mindset that we've had.
You've spoken about the importance of getting a home quarter-final and semi-final, and it's pretty evident that the South African teams have been very successful in South Africa, but at the start of the campaign I think you beat them 30 points to 3 here. So how much of an advantage is it playing at home in a semi-final?
Is it an advantage? Well, the stats would tell you it's an advantage, but that's the beauty of home and away, isn't it? Like in sport in general, like what's the home field advantage? What difference does it make? But it's when you get a big crowd at home, which gives the home team real energy, can pressurise officials at different stages. In some of those close calls, maybe the home team shades them, etc., etc. So, but that's the relationship with fans. All the great teams around the world, it's that home support that really makes playing in those stadiums special. So, and that's what we've tried to have create over many years here in the RDS, or whether it's down the Aviva. But that's as I said. Hopefully, we get a big crowd Friday night. Marcus said there's a couple of tickets still left there, so get in while you get the chance.
Just one final one. Speaking about the importance of winning the physicality up front and the set piece, is Tyke Furlong back to 100% now after that back niggle?
Yeah, he came through the week okay, which is good. He was able to train Monday, so he was able to crack on from there. So hopefully he'll come through okay again.
Thanks.
Thanks.
On that home advantage, what the Bulls have been asked to do this week in terms of managing the 6-day turnaround to travelling from South Africa, it's a big ask for them, isn't it?
That's the tournament, isn't it? You've seen because there's differences in results. You saw the start and everyone's like, oh, what's the story of the South African is? But it does take getting used to it. And there's lots of variables that you can't control with the travel, you see. So I know that, even from my own experience, we went out in 2 separate groups to South Africa. One group arrived reasonably seamlessly. The group that I was on, we got delayed on our connection, so then we missed our connection. So it was a third flight. So when we landed in Joburg, our flight had already gone. So then you're stuck there for whatever it was, 6 or 7 hours, just hanging around the terminal. It just delays you getting to where you want to get to. So you don't have the time zone issues and all the rest. You don't have that to deal with. So does it have an effect? That's the mental toughness part then as well. For it affects certain individuals more than others. How you've slept on the flight, and again the times of the flights, and so there's all those different variables. So, but yes, try to accumulate as many points you can, because then the players sleep in their own beds. You have to deal with any of those variables.